Hello, my name is John Occhi. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams and the Excellence in Real Estate team. I'd like to thank you for joining me for this third part of a 6-part special video report that I've prepared calling The Dirty Dozen and avoid the 12 biggest mistakes that buyers make. Well, what's mistake number 5? It's buying a home with an incurable defect. That's right, no home is perfect, and not even brand new houses. There's always going to be something that's not just quite right. Even if you build the house yourself, you work with an architect for a year, by the time the construction is finished, I could have tweaked this, could have tweaked that, and there's always something, always, all right? So that's not an incurable defect. You know, the color of the carpet, the color of the grout in the tile, even the tile itself is not an incurable defect. In another video report I talked about playing skin and bones. It's seeing a house not for the skin, not the texture of the wall, the color of the paint or the carpet. That's the skin. Those are the things that change and that will change and that most home buyers change when they buy the new home. But it's the bones of the house. How well is it? How well is the floor plan laid out? The design of the landscape, the flow of the property. These are issues of the bones. It's the skin that you need to address right here. Now, skin and bones, the skin is not an incurable defect. In the bones, you may have an incurable defect. What if in order to get to your bathroom, you had to go through the kitchen? Okay, that wouldn't be very good. That's pretty much a pretty poor floor plan. That would be an incurable defect. What if the home backed up against a freeway, railroad tracks, or a loud, dirty, noisy industrial complex? Incurable defects that you just can't do anything about. So the mistake is not knowing the property or just falling in love with the property when you first see it in the skin without investigating the bones and looking for incurable defects. And these are issues that are very important and they should be considered. It's even advisable to, once you've decided on a piece of property, drive by during the weekends. Drive by at night, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and see what the neighborhood really is all about. See what type of activity takes place there. And make sure it's a place that you're comfortable with and living and raising a family if that's what you're doing. So avoid buying a house with an incurable defect is number 5 in my dirty dozen. Number 6 is using the seller's real estate agent. Now, several years ago, 20 years or more, what happened is the Federal Trade Commission, they did a hard look at real estate, and they found out at that time that even if you went with a real estate agent to buy a piece of property and you used an agent that was not listing, that agent was technically a sub-agent of the listing agent, and we did away with that. In California, we have buyer's agents, we have seller's agents, and we have dual agency. As a matter of fact, when you enter into a transaction, you'll receive a document that specifically tells who's representing who, and if there is dual agency, then all parties have to agree with it. Now, as a buyer, I would never do that. All right, I would never enter into an agreement with the listing agent, because where is the loyalty? As an agent, I can tell you it's really hard to be totally unbiased between one party and the other. And it's very imperative that you have someone who is looking out for your interest and is motivated to bring the deal together and close the escrow so that you can move into your new home. And the agency issue, as far as one person representing another, it can be very, very awkward, right, to say the least. Now, while we're talking about agency, let's talk about buyer-broker agreements. They're kind of a new on the scene here in 2006, 2005, 2004. We start to see them materialize, and there are more and more buyers agents are asking their clients to sign a buyer-broker agreement. And what does this do? There are pros and there are cons, but loyalty is very important in real estate, as it is in any relationship, and that's what you're entering into with your realtor, is a relationship. Buyer-broker agreement, they can be anywhere from 30 days, 60 days, you know, sometimes as often as a month, depending on what your timeline is as far as buying. And they should always include an exit clause, but they do make it possible for a buyer's agent to provide a higher level of service, knowing that there is loyalty involved. And yes, loyalty can be established with a handshake, but as I've said in many other reports and you've heard, when it comes to real estate, if it's not in writing, it just does not exist. So please, don't be shy, don't be afraid to sign a buyer-broker agreement. Now, I work with clients with them and without them. I certainly do prefer working with them. And the clients, if I have 5 clients that I'm working with right now, which is about all I can really handle, but if I have 5 clients that I'm working with at any given time, 3 of them are in buyer broker agreements and 2 are not, and let's say they're all looking for primarily the same type of property. A new listing comes on the market that's going to meet the needs of one of the buyer brokers, one of my clients with an agreement and one without. Well, who do you think is going to get the first call? The one that I have a committed relationship with. And that's all we're asking for, is a committed relationship. Now, just like anything else, you know, if it's not working out, it's not working out. And I know I, for one, will always let a buyer out of an agreement. There's no sense in doing anything differently. So I would just want to thank you for paying attention and enjoying this short segment. I hope that it has stimulated some thought process and some questions for you. And that if you have any questions, that you'll please feel free to give me a call. My name is John Occhi. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams. I can be reached on my cell phone at 951-443-6259, or go ahead and drop me an email at thehouseseller@gmail.com. All right, well, thanks so much. And until next time, make every day a great day, because they are all so very precious. So to you and yours, God bless you. Thanks again.